in time. Wires like vines twisted like a passed down, patched up, never done right. Now it's my turn to bring it to life. Hands full of grease, sparks in the dark.
It's bad. This thing just fell apart right here. The piece was up in the top of there, came right out, just fell out. And then there's like the courtesy lights here. It's got vampire clips in it. Yeah, look at this solder joint here. What in the hell? Yeah, there's a lot of going on under here. All right, we got our master cylinder and booster out. We ended up taking the steering column out. It's in pretty rough shape. Everything's rusty under there. That's metal. And yeah, we got everything good. Brake pedal disconnected. And the steering wheel out. Our steering wheel's in pretty horrible shape too. I guess we'll wire brush some stuff, clean it up. Maybe, I don't know if they want to rebuild it. There's parts in there that are just not working and broke. This tilt column, I don't know. Maybe grab another one. I'll probably replace those switches just to make for best case. And then, yeah, the master cylinder was leaking into the booster there, and I don't know how good the booster was or wasn't. They wanted this blue part removed, so we got another one of these. I got to send this one back for a core, and then I got a brand new AC Delco master cylinder, so we'll go there. I found a couple more things. We got a bolt down there in the top of the bell housing that's not even all the way in. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. That bolt ain't tight, and then on the other side there no bolt. So yeah, I can't really. There we go. Yeah, no bolt at all. So it's kind of stuff. Okay, we got to get the water out of the rest of this block, or the rest of the water out of this block. And yeah. It's becoming an issue because it's in the screw holes of the water pump, and I need them to be dry.
Bolts rusted, hoses cracked, years of neglect trying to fight back.
Got a good gallon or so, or most of a gallon, and I can't touch the water anymore in the cylinders or in the behind the water pump. So hey, that worked. I want it dry so I can put in a nice seal on the new water pump, and that's what I had to do. Put a little gasket sealer on the bolt going into the water jacket.
Time to fight back. Pull the pump, toss it aside. This old beast ain't ready to die. Spin the wrench, scrape the grime. One more fix, she'll run just fine. Thermostat stuck, temp runs high. Gotta get it right, can't let her fry. Keep it cool, keep it tight. Blue Thunder's burning for a midnight ride. New pump, fresh flow, temp gauge right. Ain't stopping till she runs ice white. New radiator, snug in place. No more steam blowing in my face. Flush the block, clear the lines. Pull the coolant and watch it shine. Keep it cool, keep it tight. Blue Thunder's burning for a midnight ride. New pump, fresh flow, temp gauge right. Ain't stopping till she runs ice white. New radiator, snug in place. No more steam blowing.
I didn't know if I mentioned it has a really tight fit between the water pump and the timing cover, because it's got some kind of billet timing cover on it. So just to show that there is a slight gap there, I could take a piece of paper and put it in between there. That's about all the room there is. There's a piece of paper width. and you could shimmy it in there. I mean, if it was butted up tight, no way. But I could slide a piece of paper in that gap. And, you know, maybe it touches slightly. But it really needs this other short water pump. It gives me almost another 2 inches of room here, because these only stick out 5 and something, and then the long water pumps are 7 and something. If I have the old pump, I could probably make a better case for this. See how much further out it sticks. It sticks clear out to here, and this car is very tight for space. Power steering pump, hopefully that hasn't been moved. It didn't line up anyway with the power steering pump. It was out of angle. So I'm hoping when we put all the normal pulleys back on this and this damper and everything, we gain that clearance, and we may be able to put a mechanical fan back on here, which I think would be the best thing for moving air through this fiberglass body. And yeah, I mean, fiberglass doesn't retain the heat as much, so hopefully air will just flow, and it's got kind of nice airflow down on the sides of the body, like down in that area, and then down in the back here. There's kind of an air hole, and then these vents, I don't know if they're supposed to, but they kind of connect, and it seems like how they draw the air out. So the air is very well ducted through here. It's tight through the middle, slows down through the radiator, which that's usually a good thing, the air, as long as it don't go too slow. And then the fan moves it out of the engine bay, you know, when we got a proper cover, because you can still get the full fan shroud for these. So another interesting thing is the engine is offset. It's not in the center of the car. I don't know, ball joint to ball joint, looking from the middle, the center of the radiator is here and the center of the engine is here. So it's offset, I don't know, a little bit, an inch, maybe 2. I don't know, maybe not that much, couple of fingers. But the engine's actually offset. I don't know if it's to get the foot box down there, but sometimes that's what you have to do in the race cars, is offset the engine just a little bit to the other side. But you got a human usually driving on this side, so if some of your weight is scooted over an inch, you know, it just balances everything back out. So there we go. Got the brake booster in. We just need I'm working on sorting out what wires I need, what wires I don't need, and laying them out. Trying to mount the fuse panel down under the firewall first, and then get this one sorted out. So far I've had to put a windshield washer pump wire in it, because the Corvette, well, actually that's the stock GM way. The original GM way is actually, the harness doesn't come that way. The harness actually comes with the wiper motor being, yeah, it doesn't have a hot wire to the center of the wiper motor, because you got 3 wires into the wiper motor, and then this hot wire here also goes to the washer pump. So you'll have 3 ground wires coming from your wiper switch. One's high, one's low, and the last one is wiper washer. And then you have a hot wire from the fuse block down here that powers, that puts the positive power to the wiper motor and the washer. But the washer pump, instead of being mounted up there on that unit, is down under this fender. So we just got to split this wire somewhere, but I'll probably do it closer to the fuse block, and it'll be fine. I'm just trying to sort all that stuff out. The coloring is a little different, so I made a really good wiring diagram that's all color coded. You can buy them, but man, people want $20 to $40 depending on that, plus shipping. I'm like, it does not cost more than whatever the lowest flat rate box is to ship in. But you know, I understand people don't carry those. Nobody wants to go down to the post office, whatever. So I just made one. I just sat down and made one, and I just took the pictures right out of the factory service manual. Great. And then I've been taking colored pencils and going through all the wiring diagrams as I go through each system and I just color them in and write notes, so that when I get to actual cutting wires, you know, I'm gung-ho. This I just left a little bit on here so I can go factory, and then I'll replace each one with the new wire. They'll have new colors, and it'll be pretty simple, because I'm gonna replace the connectors inside here. So I'll just take these, I'll know what they are stock, and then I'll put the other one in one at a time and be good to go. So there's like one here, one on the wiper motor. Engine stuff, there's nothing too fancy. I think I'll end up adding an electric choke, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what they want. The HEI ignition just has battery power with ignition on, and your tack signal that goes back into the tack. Nothing too complicated there. The heater wiring, it has AC, but the condensers, or excuse me, there's no condenser. The evaporator has been cut, and it don't exist any. The ends of it don't. The nipples coming out. The accumulator is missing, and the pump is missing. But by putting this all back to stock, if somebody wanted to, they could buy another AC compressor and put it back on the other side, and evaporator and all that stuff, and maybe redo it, or maybe vintage air. I don't know. I'm just, that's beyond me. I know it could be done. And then the other thing I'm gonna try to sort out as I go, as I'm under the dash, is the vacuum lines. There's a whole bunch of them. So there's vacuum lines here and there, and that's it. So we're getting there. I'll probably get the master cylinder on tomorrow. I got it painted yesterday. It's all good, clean looking. So that'll cover most of the major components up into the front of the engine as far as getting them cleaned up. My alternator is still blue at this point, but I thought about just cleaning up to save, you know, 50, 60 bucks, unless it has to look brand new or whatever. We could just clean it up. If it puts out power, great, you know, because if it ever goes bad, you can just get one for. We also made this so you can go to the parts store, get parts for 78 Corvette, and we put the right thermostat housing on here that goes here, where the hoses are just 78 Corvette. So as far as maintaining this, that should be a little easier. Not that like other AN and other expensive fittings are also somewhat easy, but this should work. This should work very well, as good as it did back when. So, and we're gonna reroute some of the hoses and wires. I don't think they were in the right place. Maybe they were, but there's some obvious low-hanging fruit as far as cleaning up the wiring. Then maybe taking the brackets off of the intake manifold and cleaning those up, because they're just like, you know, tetanus causing rough edges, cut, chopped, whatever. And then maybe the sensor for the gauge, I'm going to test it and see how good it is. Just making sure that we're getting good signals to his gauges. You know, if they work, great. So that's it. One of the other things we're going to do before we get the harmonic balancer covered up and everything too with the accessories is mark TDC on the balancer by checking it through the plug hole and where the piston actually is. And so you never know, sometimes those chrome markers or the balancer is shifted. So we're going to double check top dead center, so when we put a timing light on it, we get a better idea of where we're at. You know, that's not going to say that the balancer can't spin again, but at idle, when we set it, it'll probably be just fine. This is what we did today. We got this all prepped, and we put some rust converter down on the bottom and got that all ready, and the brackets that hold the radiator in, so that can all be at least painted with a little something something, and that will hold up a little better. And then we started peeling off more wiring in here, and this is what it looks like so far. And we got pretty good hot mess here. A couple of these modules I need to identify, and yeah, but we're peeling it back and starting to route the bulk of the wiring where it needs to go. And then once we do that, we'll kind of finalize how it routes and start connecting stuff. We got stuff that goes over here, goes to neutral safety switch, goes to the reverse lights, and then some of the sub harnesses will just leave alone as long as the wire tests good, looks good, works good. Get a little more close-in view of what I got going on here. Put you on the Corvette bracket. We got this wire here. Okay, so we cut our wire to size, and in particular, I'm using the these pliers here. And you just got to give you like 1/2 inch, maybe a little more. So on these pliers, I just stick it out a little bit like that. And the purpose is we need a piece of that core to stick out. And then in this case, we're using these ones for the 90-degree boots. And I'm going to figure out roughly how it goes on there. And I know I'm going to want, it doesn't really matter, I mean too much. And you just fold it over. Fold it over so it's bent over like that. Take this guy here. Slip it over like that, and then I just pinch this a little bit to hold it. All right, and then you take the part here that is folds over like that. You got it in the fold over part, and you just squeeze it down until it'll release automatically when you go all the way down, and now you got your end on your spark plug wire. And I just put a little dielectric grease on the back side here, so when I'm sliding it on, sometimes I put a little right in the end of this thing, like just a little tiny bit, just to help it slide like that. We don't want it on the inside where a spark plug contact is made, but you put that on there, and these 8mm wires can go right in, and then you can see it down at the bottom there. You know it's all the way in, and you got your plug wire made. And I just put a little dielectric grease on the rim here. Just use that to spread it around. Put a little on the rim there, and just put it on the plug wire, and that'll help get it on and off and keep the moisture out. And yeah, snap right on there. Okay, just kind of what our engine bay looks like now. It's getting better. We've got a water pump, we've got new brakes, master cylinder and booster. Got our plug wires made. Starting to clean up. We got all the engine wires are out here. All I got to do now is figure out where I'm going to run that. Got the new panel down there, and we're starting to move all the wiring around to get it routed. And I got the fuse panel down there, and now we're going through identifying all the modules, and we should be able to get that done, and we'll have all the modules done and figuring out where everything goes. Got a new park or a new brake switch. And my little light keeps turning off because, man, I just cannot get it together today. And we got a couple little modules over here. Got like an interior light timer, and it's got a bunch of little stuff. You know, this is one of them years where they wanted to include everything, and because this is their flagship rig, then I guess that's what it has. But we're going to start working on the list. And that's why we're here today. Where we're at. So we need to get the radiator mounted. Radiator. But we need to paint area and then install the radiator. Then we got to do the front light wiring. Okay, we need 2 new sockets, and we need to figure out what kind of lights they want to use for headlights. Or just look at this. Cracks. There's not one there doesn't seem to be many similarities between the screws that have been coming out of this car. And we're dealing with this super switch panel with these cool little LED lights, I guess. And yeah, it was mounted like that. And I need to get to the wiring to the dome light, which the dome light shattered in my hands. I mean, I just touched it and that thing just exploded. So, I don't know, we're gonna need another one of those. Snug in place, no more steam blowing in my face. Flush the block, clear the lines, pull the cool and watch it shine. Keep it cool, keep it tight. Blue Thunder's burning for a midnight ride. New pump, fresh flow, temp gauge right. Ain't stopping till she runs ice white. I believe this was the fan mounted on the front of the radiator. I will double check my old footage just to make sure, or my pictures. But anyway, watch this when we turn it on. You notice which way the air is going? That way. This was on the front side of the radiator. Yeah. And it pulls probably pulls 7 or 8 amps, maybe more. I don't have enough wattage on my my power supply to run it at full amperage. I have a battery somewhere, but it's all good. All I'm saying was it was mounted on the radiator like this, blowing towards the front of the car. That's all I'm saying.